Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina. So excited because I've got a fellow, however you want to say it, because she's not a fella, she's a she, and she's awesome, and she's doing great things for women veterans and working on wanting to do great things for women veterans. Her name is Robin Runkle, and she is an Army veteran that is just going to talk with us about, it is the Women Warriors Veterans Rock.
Yes, it is.
Organization that you have created, and why have you decided to create an organization for women veterans?
Well, to make a long story short, I spent 22 years in the military. So out of that 22 years, I got to know a lot of women. And a lot of women have a lot of struggles that are swept under the rug per se. So my organization was opened up for all women veterans. Now, women thinks because they served in reserves or National Guard that they're not a veteran, but they are.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a combat veteran. But my organization is going to be having retreats for all different types of women, single moms, women who have trauma such as sexual abuse. I already have lined up psychiatrists and everybody to come and be able to talk to these women, because some women just don't, they're hidden.
Yeah. They try to, I don't want to say sweep it under the rug, but they don't really feel the need probably to talk about it. Is that what do you think, Robin, for
no,
some?
I think some have told their superiors, but they kind of like, want to keep it a hush-hush, but I'm not a hush-hush person. So that's why my organization exists, because I want women to use their voices. Hey, this happened to me, and this where we can get together and be able to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And, force comes in numbers. So we want to make a difference. And so having these retreats, we'd be able to educate people on different things. It doesn't matter how old you are, if you spent 2 years in the military, 4 years, or 22. Yeah. Not everybody went through the same things that you have.
I've always said that with my experience in the military, I could sit down and talk for hours with just, basic training experience alone, let alone if there was something life-altering that has happened to them or traumatized them that they don't feel that they are comfortable enough to talk about it with anybody. They can talk about it with a fellow veteran, somebody who can sit next to them and maybe relate in some way. You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
It's more comforting, I think, and I don't know about you, but for me, when I was in the military, it made me feel like I was just part of a different kind of family.
And it is.
What I say by different is not your, blood family.
Right, and that's the big thing about my sisterhood, because I do belong to several organizations with my sisters. And we want to be able to do that, sit down and talk about if somebody has an issue, hey, I had that issue in the past, this is what I did. So, and that's what my organization's about, is I want to be able to bring women. I'm going to start local with the women, but I have women from California asking me, is it up and running yet?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big thing for women veterans.
So when did you try to start it? Was it right before the whole COVID thing? Because what you're doing right now is you're trying to just raise the funds and get those donations to help you to get to where you need to be in order to have the retreats, correct?
Correct. So I applied for my 501c3 back in 2019. And what got me to start it is my mom had passed away, and she told me, that's what's you're gonna do good things. So she knew about my organization before she passed. But then in March, COVID, because it takes a while for the IRS to approve it. So in March, that's when everything hit. So we had to put everything back. But now that everything seems to be moving forward, I want to move forward with this. I already have a place for where it's going to be, and we're ready. We just need funding, because it's all donations run.
Yeah, being a nonprofit, that's typically the way it is. I know there are some organizations that you can, if you have some kind of trust, if somebody wants to leave that money in their trust to you all, you're a 501c3, they can do that, can't they, Robin?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and help to make a positive difference in the lives of these women. So I didn't mention to anybody yet that the way we got to know one another was I was out to eat at a awesome Italian. No, I was going to say Italian. It's Romano, right? Which it is.
Italian
It is,
Romano.
but he'll like be like it's. And I'm talking about Chris.
Yes.
Chris is really funny because he will just tell you.
Yes.
He's like, but he's so fun. So it is called, because I want to get it right, Osteria alla Romana.
Osteria alla
Osteria.
Romana, yes.
See, oh yeah, Osteria.
And he's a big
Romana.
part of my organization because
Yes.
he does send me funding for it. So, you know, he's a godsend. So, you know, his restaurant might be a small thing, but I'm telling you, he does miracles.
His restaurant is kind of like a hidden gem, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is delicious, and it was the funniest thing because I know that one day I stopped in and I was like, that's when I met you, because when I was talking to him and I thought his food was so delicious, and I had made the comment, you know what, I don't really have a lot of businesses on my show yet, but I'm kind of thinking about doing something like that, and I do, you know what I do, and and he just, your name is what came out, and he has these flyers and pamphlets in his restaurant. And he handed it to me, and he's just like, you got to give her a call. I promise
Yes.
I will. I'm a veteran myself, I promise.
Yes.
So,
Chris is
here
like,
we are,
yeah,
so.
Chris is amazing. And he, you know, he has such a big heart, and he pushes my organization to anybody that comes in because he believes in it.
Yes.
And he knows that he he has daughters of his own. So he knew that there is a need for this. Mm-hmm. And if we can get back to our women vets, our women warriors, then this is what we're going to do.
So what is the contact information for anybody who wants to reach out to you?
Okay, the contact information, I'll give you my phone number. It's 614-565-0510. Also, our email is www.vetsrock@gmail.com.
Which Women Warriors Veterans Rock.
Right, and then we also have a donation line. If it's www.wwr.org. So if you're, you know, it doesn't matter if it's $5, $2, any donation will help.
That's
and
right.
This will help the women veterans, and they're so looking forward to come in our area.
It's it's an opportunity to give them a chance to voice what maybe they've never said to anybody else, but they will say to another sister veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are definitely
Well,
a sisterhood.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
So anything else before we go? Do you want
No, please, please, please. We need all the help that we can get to get this
All right.
organization up and running.
Thank you so much for what you do, and keep doing what you're doing. And folks, I'm going to be back. You're watching Down Here with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm a recovering addict. For 10 of the last 11 years, I've been struggling with addiction, homelessness, incarceration, and just loneliness. However, since getting clean this past year, I've accomplished more than I have in those 10 years combined. After attending outpatient counseling services, inpatient counseling services, living in a sober living house, and attending 12-step meetings, I've been able to regain control of my life and begin to achieve goals I've always dreamed of. Addiction can destroy lives in many ways. Whether you need help with childcare or financial assistance, everyone deserves a new beginning. Recovery supports are just that, supports for recovery. My life mattered. Your life matters too.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Welcome back to Down Here with Tina. Karla Perretta is with me, one of my dear friends. We are going to talk about spring planting because I have no idea. And I've got a new place, and I'm going to be doing some planting at some point. Karla's not seen what I've got out front, so we're not even going to reference or do anything about my place. We're going to talk about maybe something for your place that maybe she can help you if you are deciding to do something new. My goodness, because spring is here, what can we do? Because we've had some really gorgeous warm weather, and I just want to go out to the stores, and I just want to get all kinds of plants that I know are not quite ready for me to not have to bring them in and out. And then if I bring them in and out, it doesn't mean I still wouldn't kill them. So what do you suggest, Karla?
So typically, this is how it kind of rolls. First of all, I want you to know we are in zone 5, right? So that means that's our planting zone. And you can always see those references on the backs of pretty much any of the perennials or annuals. It'll tell you what zones are available for what plants, especially things that like winter over. Right now we have, of course, the magnolias are in bloom, the forsythias, the shrubs are in bloom. We've got all these gorgeous bulbs. And if people have missed their chance on that, those really should be planted in the fall.
Okay.
So bringing back to what can we do right now? Well, right now, I know everybody's getting antsy, but really it's the time to trim your shrubs, trim back your rose bushes, edge your beds, do your planning. If you've got some tilling, if you're going to do some vegetable gardens, that's really how you want to spend April. Okay. As we move into May, obviously, this is the time where people are really getting antsy. That's the time it's going to be much more safe to plant your tender annuals or perennials. Start sowing seeds, putting vegetables in about the second week of May.
In May, do we still need to be prepared to have to cover those outdoor plants? Because it has been known to frost.
It has been. So usually we typically, most garden centers would typically recommend about that second, third week of May is about when it's pretty much safe. But if we do get a light frost or tender frost, you want to make sure you cover those tender plants. Most of the perennials can handle it, but it's really the annuals if you plant those too early. But if you really want some color, like right now, pansies are an amazing choice. They're full of beautiful color. They're just kind of a small flower, usually in bright yellows, purples. They're just a gorgeous little plant.
And those could be planted?
Those can be planted right now. They can kind of handle the tender frost. Especially with a light covering, even just like a loose blanket or anything like that. So those are things you can just have right now if you want to. And of course, there's always exceptions to the rule, but I would definitely recommend anybody to, if you're getting excited, get out to your garden center, start thinking about what you want, pick your color schemes, and just have fun with it.
And so, it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and mulch if we get so excited we wanted to do something. Could we go ahead and mulch?
I would recommend, you could definitely mulch for sure. But also just remember that we do get a lot of times heavy rain. And if you have gutters that haven't been cleaned and you get overflow, it can just kind of trash the look of your brand new laid mulch. So you just kind of want to be wary of that type of thing. And most definitely when it comes to mulch, just remember you don't want to mulch in areas where you plan on planting something, because you just make it all when you go to actually plant your individual annuals and things.
Okay, so you really want to plant those before you mulch.
Yeah, you really do. But definitely edge your beds, get those nice clean edges, get your stuff prepared, do your weeding. It's always nice to put down a layer of preen, which is a product that helps keep emergent weeds from coming back, and it also keeps other weeds from spreading and for, basically, propagating themselves.
What is that?
So it's like a little granular. It comes in a jar, like kind of usually in a bag or a jar.
Okay.
Like I say a jug, basically. But it's called preen, and that's a great product.
What do you think about that landscaping sheet stuff?
Landscaping sheet mulch is the landscaping. It's like a landscaping material. It is, permeable, water permeable, which is great. But just to understand that once the mulch starts to break down, you end up having weeds grow on top of it. But it does help if you have huge, large areas that you want to just have like nothing there. You just want like a nice clean mulch, or you've already done your key planting and you're not going to be doing a lot of annuals, because it's really hard to kind of like cut holes and then put annuals in, and then you kind of got to worry about if you get them in the exact spot, or else you end up cutting up all that material.
What about folks who want to do do you call it box plants that you maybe want to put over your rail on your porch?
Oh yeah, box planting is great. That's container planting. And those plants are usually annual, although I do have a few that will come back. There's like some lime green things that I have in mind that'll come back every year and things like that, like foliage wise. But for the most part, that's primarily annuals, and so you'll want to wait till about mid-May to get those planted.
Okay, wonderful. Anything else on the planting bit? Because you know me, I can always talk about.
You know, I'm pretty definitely feel free to start if you want to pre-sow some of your vegetable seeds or floral seeds.
Okay.
You can kind of do that in home, and I would say around mid-April is a great time to get that done.
Little Dixie cups or things like that.
Yeah, you can use Dixie cups. You can reuse egg cartons. Those are always a great idea. And you know, you can just make sure you've got them, you can kind of cover them. And a lot of times, of course, the garden centers will sell like a little kit. If you want to do it, it's got the little clear plastic lid to kind of make a mini greenhouse. You just want to make sure you don't overwater those, you know, or let them dry out too much. Sowing plants seed from seed is a little difficult, a little tricky. Sometimes I just like to get my big bang for the buck. Just go buy the big plants.
Awesome, awesome. Do you have any recommendation for folks with deer? If you don't, that have deer that come through? You do?
Yeah, I do actually. Ivory soap.
Ivory, okay.
Yeah, so any type of bars of soap, like I think
Irish Spring. Yeah, I was going to tell about my buddy.
That's another good one. Also, you can take, if you clean out your hairbrush, and you can throw that around some key plants. But a lot of deer are kind of so used to humans, it doesn't as much work anymore.
Yeah.
But those are some things. And also you can make a little mix of cayenne pepper, little Tabasco sauce, a little vinegar, and and you want to kind of half mix with water. You can spritz that. There's plenty of recipes online. They get one bite of that and, you know, woo-woo.
They don't come back.
And they don't like that. So yeah, that's a nice thing. It works for cats too inside.
Well, and that's what I wanted to say, because I just did want to give a shout out. And Karla, thank you so very much for sharing this with me, and I'll have her back again.
I'm so excited for spring. It's
I
just
am
amazing.
too. I cannot wait. But so I have a neighbor fella who I'm new in the neighborhood, and a basket of little goodies as I was walking in the house. And the reason I want to give a shout out is because you may know him as Kyle at the Flower Pot. It is a flower shop close to downtown Lancaster. And he had some Irish Spring soap and just said, cut this up into cubes and put it around your flowers so the deer won't eat your flowers. And I love that. So that was great, because other soaps as well. I thought, what a kind thing. So if you do have somebody new in the neighborhood, all you got to do is buy some Irish Spring soap, or Karla, you mentioned ivory soap, and just a little note, say, welcome to the neighborhood. And if you get some deer, put these around your flowers, because then that way they'll steer clear, hopefully. And if not, I will give Kyle a call again. And say, do you have something else? No, I'm sure it works. Karla, again, thank you, folks.
Welcome.
Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a minute. You're watching Down Home with Tina.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all this stuff. And we looked around, and I said, there's our bank, right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. The employees are happy here. They're conversant. Customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have got Mr. Scott Burke. He is from Lancaster High School. He is a teacher of a career tech program. Video production.
Sure, you call it that, yeah.
How fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing this, Scott?
This is my 14th year. I took a year off. I started a year, worked a year, then left for 3 years and came back. So
yeah.
it's total.
What drove you back to it?
Just a couple things going on in my life, and they called me. I was still helping out and doing some stuff at the time with the station and stuff, and they some changes in personnel, and they said, "You've been interested in coming back?" And I didn't leave in a bad way. It wasn't like I got mad and stomped off or anything. Just took some other opportunities and came back, and it was also the program was changing a little bit, and they were moving off campus to Stanberry, and I liked the idea of that, to actually have a studio and be able to work with the kids off site, and I've been there ever since.
So tell me about this class. What is it? What grades is it? Is it a
It's juniors and seniors.
It's juniors, seniors. Okay,
so, So basically, to start the process, since their sophomore year, they apply to it. So we do a big recruiting. We do a bunch of recruiting videos and visiting days, and they come visit the studio. We go talk to them, and they apply for it. And then I interview the kids, and I get about, every year is different, anywhere between 50, 75 kids apply for the class, and I look at their grades. I look at, I interview them, ask their interest in the class, and I talk to teachers, and a lot of the kids, I kind of know some of their parents and that kind of stuff, so I'll be able to find out how interested they are. They apply, and then once they're chosen, usually I try to have like a big premiere or something. Like a couple years ago, I did like a Willy Wonka theme. I gave them a golden ticket, and so just little things like that. And then it's a 2-year program, so like most career tech programs, and I have juniors for first, second, third period, which is about 2.5 hours, and then I get a little break, and then my seniors come for about 2.5 hours.
So is it, I'm sure, a limited number of kids, and how many are allowed in the class?
I take anywhere between 20 to 24, depends.
Oh my goodness, so 50 kids a year can be...
Yeah, I think this year I have 24 juniors and 18 seniors.
Can you recommend to those who are really serious what they need to really pay attention to early on, being that you interview teachers and watch their grades and things like that?
Yeah,
that's just what they need to do, right?
Because I'm looking for kids that can, in video production, they have to be able to work on their own and work in groups, have to deal with the public, and but a lot of it is being able to be self-guided and motivated to work on an editing project. You might have a project that take you hours and hours to do, but you have a deadline to get it done. So,
what are some of the projects that you have done with the kids throughout the years? Or maybe I should ask some of your favorite projects, because I'm sure there's been many.
Well, my favorite is by far is the senior project. They do their own independent short film, and that's what they're working on now. Now the tricky part is working with seniors at the end, because they're kind of done, but it's also kind of shows like the high, shows everything they've done the last 2 years, from producing to directing to editing. That's fun. But we also do a weekly show. It's like a magazine style show where we do stories on students and teachers and events and sporting events and concerts. And
is that something open to the public to view that?
Yeah, we put it on YouTube. We show it Friday mornings at the high school.
Okay.
It's about like a 10-minute show. We also put it on YouTube, that way we share it and people can watch it.
Oh, nice.
Sites.
What's that called? What's the YouTube channel?
It's called Gales Rap. So we've been doing that. We used to do like a daily announcements, and then years ago we decided to kind of up the quality a little bit, and instead of just doing a daily, read announcements, we thought we'd make it more higher quality and better stories, and so that's what we've been doing.
Why is it something that you decided to get into? It's because this is obviously a career for yourself that you...
Well, how I got to teaching was funny, because I worked in video production my whole career, doing I worked for Channel 6. I did a lot of freelance work for ESPN and some National Geographic stuff. And I spent most of my career working for High Department of Natural Resources in the wildlife division, producing an outdoor TV show. So I was a guy out in the swamps with all the camera gear covered up with camouflage, and getting shots of birds and deer and everything else, and I had a really great job. I was never planning on leaving. I was going to be a lifer there, working for the state. And I got a call from Lancaster, I was from around this area, and they called me and said, back in like 2002, 2003, they said, "Hey, we want to start this program. We want to, are you interested?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not a teacher. I'm a videographer. I'm a producer." They said, "Well, the career tech program, we know you have a degree, and we know you've been working in it. So that part counts, and then you just go back and get your certification."
Yeah.
And I wasn't really interested at the time. I was like, "No, I want to stay here." I had a pretty good gig. It was,
right.
I had my own state car. I had my own, buy my own stuff, and I could just pretty much choose what I wanted to do. But at the time then, I had to expect my first child, and I knew that we'd probably have another one, and I just knew that in order to do that job, I'd be gone for days at a time, you know, early morning stuff, and I wanted to be there for the kids' stuff, so I took the job, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Would you ever want to go back to that? Maybe you don't know, or no, or maybe not.
After the week I had last week, yes, I would. I would. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's different. I mean, I miss doing hands-on video production every day. I'm kind of like the production manager, where you know the kids come to me and I sign them stuff. I still work with them a lot. You know, I'm always hands-on doing stuff. I just can't stop doing it. But it was a great job, but it also was a younger job. You know?
I was going to say, did you see yourself not getting into camouflage in the pond and being in cold weather or something?
Faster, so,
Oh, that's funny. No, that's great. Yeah. So what, you have a student, I know we've only got a couple of minutes, almost forgot, Craig Carpenter, so do they get the opportunity to participate in different contests sometimes?
Yeah, they do contests all the time. And the good part about the contests is, you know, they can do this, they can make money. You know, Craig is in this contest he just mentioned. He won the local contest. There's like 4 or 5 entries, and he won local, and that got him $250. He's excited about that, and the program got $250 too. The Park National Bank, they sponsor it locally, and they give him a check, the big fake check, and then we got the real check for $250, and that qualified him to go to nationals. And it was a really good video. I knew as soon as he did it, it was going to win. I just knew that it was that good. And once it went to nationals, of the 100 and some they pick, only 8 make it to the finals. And we got the letter last week. He made it to the finals, and then he won round 1, he won round 2, and then now he's in the finals.
Kind of waiting for the
so he's guaranteed $2,000 for second place he got, and then we're still waiting to see if he won or not, and then he might win $5,000. So.
Well, fingers crossed. I know the taping of it, we're waiting now,
we
so we will know by the time we air that if he's won or not. So, well, good luck to him. I highlight you as a teacher, and I want to thank you so much for what you do, Scott Burke over at LHS. And I've got goodies for you, and I'll get back with that to you. But I think we're getting ready to. I will be back in just a minute. And we'll be back in just a minute because we've got a lot going on today, folks. It's Down Home with Tina, and like I said, I'll be back in a minute.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I just wanted to share something with you here on this very brief segment, and that is what I want you to do for you. I guess I could ask you to do it for me, but it's not the same. You got to do it yourself. And this is because I want you to remember how valuable you are, because I talk about that from time to time. It's called an affirmation. So what I want you to do at the end of you watching the show is I want you to go in the bathroom or wherever you are, and I want you to put your hands way up in the air, and I want you to say, I am amazing. Now you can do that in front of a mirror, or you can just do it by yourself. Get your whole family to do it, because I tell you what, after you do it, you're going to feel really, really good, and you might actually feel like you're an amazing person, because you know what? You are an amazing person. Folks, thank you so much for watching Down Home with Tina. God bless. I hope you have an amazing week, and until we meet again, good day.